All right, so this is the arcade unit here. When you buy this cabinet, you're really just getting the cabinet. You can optionally get the controller as well, or you can kind of customize your own thing. But again, it only really comes with the cabinet and optionally the controls. You'll need to provide your own monitor, and of course you're going to have to build your own computer to actually power the arcade machine. And really configuring that computer is where most of the work is. So as you can see, for the controller, I've got separate coin buttons for player 1 and player 2, separate start buttons, 6-button with the joystick, which is good for pretty much all of the games that I would play on here. There's about 20,000 of them. It's great for fighting games in particular, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, those kinds of games. We'll show you a little bit of some of the titles that I have on here. So this is just one of the themes for RetroPie, and I have a few different systems on here, Super Nintendo, Sega, the original PlayStation, Neo Geo, the original NES, Nintendo 64, ColecoVision, and of course arcades, which is using the MAME or one of the MAME type emulators, depending on how you set that up. So I even have some Commodore 64 games on here, and the software allows you to kind of set up your favorites and all that. So I've got a few in here we'll look at, and I'll run through a video just of some clips of some of these running, and then take a look at the where the Raspberry Pi is.
Mission 1, start.
So this game is kind of interesting. So this doesn't have 2 players at the same time. So I actually configured the joystick to the second joystick to act as the second game joystick. So let me go ahead and I'll put another coin in. Start.
Dragon's Lair, a fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the dead.
Okay. No, I can't believe I missed that. Okay. I'm really not quite that bad normally, so. Alright, let's. Yeah, I don't know what. So, one of the cool things about emulation is that you can kind of run ROMs that you wouldn't normally be able to play on the original systems. This here was a custom Wreck-It Ralph game that was made that mimics the one that's in the movie, so this is not really something you would normally be able to play. But you know, great stuff like this. There's also a lot of great Japanese games, Japanese fighting games like that you wouldn't normally have ever seen or been able to play. So it's kind of neat.
I can fix it.
All right, so take a quick look at the what's actually powering this whole thing. Well, look in the back here. Really, the only thing powering this whole thing is this small box. This is the Raspberry Pi, and you can see, I mean, other than the power here, this goes to the TV, obviously, and then this is the keyboard controller for that. The biggest thing, it's not really hard to set this up, but there's a lot of configuring of the software, and also I highly recommend actually setting up the joystick, the controller panel here as an actual joystick rather than keyboard emulation. And that does require you to load up a new firmware and then use some software called an iPack Windows config to actually go in and change it to act like a joystick, a PC joystick. And that for a couple reasons. One, I found it works better with some of the other consoles on here. But also, if you ever decide to use a TV, an actual PC to power this, so you can play some more modern games, you can do that, and it's going to work really well with you know, Windows or Linux, depending on what it is you're doing. But anyway, really great project, and once you build out the Raspberry Pi, if you want to upgrade, you can do that. You can just unplug it, and then if you build a new cabinet, just plug that in there, image the ROM, and so pretty sweet. Highly recommend the folks that make the AlphaCade. It's really easy to assemble. My son actually helped me with that portion of it, and just a lot of great fun on this thing. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to try and answer.